Guess which part of Africa are they from? If you know the answer and you have answered giving any part of Africa, you are very wrong. They are from a place known as Polynesia. Where is Polynesia? But is Africa the source of these people? Let us ask from the website known as Quora. Are Polynesians of African descent? Where did the original Polynesians come from? Here is the answer that dominates this website. No, they don't come from Africa. That's what they're saying. Then they go on to explain their ancestry seems to be about 90 to 95% Austronesian. We want to stop there a little bit and then go to our sages and find a clue of the origins of these people. Our sages taught us that the world rose out of the lifeless waters of chaos, which they called Nyu NyuNyu. NyuNyu means the waves. And they said this earth emerged as a pyramid mound called the Benben, this one, or BENYU, which was the first thing to emerge from the waters of NyuNyu. BENYU means living, means alive, and means with the life. So there was only one earth, one solid earth. Not two, not three. There was only one continent. Which continent is that? Scientists and astronomers give us the clues and the answers. Astronomer scientist Wegener was convinced that all of the Earth's continents were once part of an enormous single landmass called Pangaea, which is Africa. And all the other continents moved away from Pangaea. So we want to go back to the questions. Are Polynesians, these people, of African descent? And where did the original Polynesians come from? And this contributor on Quora says they come from Austronesian, but we know from scientific and historical and mythology that there was only one continent called Pangaea, which is Africa, that gave birth to all the other continents. So Quora and any other website that does not relate human origins back to Pangaea, back to Africa, is wrong. So all the other statements that they write about this and the proofs that they come up with, they are wrong. We want to discuss this topic today. Very important. Africans are also Polynesians. Let's look at that. Now, when you look at these names of some parts in Polynesia, this part, you will find that these are almost similar to some Bantu words. If I was to go to somebody and say Fuja, they would know. And I say Samo, they would know. And I say Tonga, they will know. And I said Raro Tonga, they know that I'm saying continue to rule. If I say Raivavaye, it means it is itchy. If I say Tuatwamo or Tahiti, it's Tahoti, we mean Mangareva. That's Rapa Nui. Rapa Nui, Rapa means hill, or Nyu means to be sunk. So here's the question. Where did the Polynesians originate from? The term Polynesia, these people, meaning these people, was coined by Europeans to refer to people who live in this part of the earth, around Australia there. And these people today have significant Mongol and European admixing. That's what they say. That's scientific. You can find it in science. They reserve the term Melanesia or Melanesian for the original pure black, Pacificans or Austronesians who have resisted admixture. So these who do not qualify as Polynesians but as Melanesians according to the classification that they are giving here. Africa is the epicenter and the default homeland of everyone who is melanin dominant. Here is the proof. And the number of years of migration, 50 to 65,000 years, they arrive here in Polynesia. But in Polynesia, we know from genetic studies that 2,500 years ago, that's when they started to dominate these places. So that's why these people are melanin dominant. From Madagascar here to Taiwan, then to Polynesia. Very, very clear. And here is the Taiwanese woman of the Aotearoa tribe, is a Muntu. Solomon Islands is a Muntu. Aboriginal Australian is a Muntu, proper with the dreadlocks. And these are the people of Vanuatu. This word Vanuatu is Banu. It's Bantu. Atu means ours, our Bantus. That's what this name says. Whether they come from New Caledonia, which are new names, and they were there around 50,000 years, and this is the migration route they took into Australia and New Guinea, these people, Bantus. So the answers that are given by Cora and the arguments that are given in many forums all fall down. This is a Tahitian woman in traditional headdress with beautiful 3C hair. She looks like this sister, a Muntu. These are kids, Bantus, in Polynesia. How they do it now, scholarly, we want to show what they do, the tricks they play. They play with images and changing images. This is the Tongan chief, the original Tongan chief. But this is what they promote today, the mulatto one, by Europeans. This is done specifically and purely by conquering and colonizing and enslaving Europeans. They change original people to suit their own images, which is utterly unacademic and very, very deceptive. So this is what has happened. This is now the Samoan Prime Minister of that time, Sailele Maliele Gaoe, who meets the Chinese president. The ethnicity is obvious because he comes from the first waves of Chinese who came there in the 1800s. Remember the 200 years that was spoken about there. Another island here, which is to the northeast of Australia, Marshall Islands here, North Pacific Ocean. You find here the Larik of the Wodja Atoll, and these are Bantus. There is no two ways about that. You can't doubt that. She's a chief. Don't worry, you will see them changing them. And the earrings, and the sishakati, and everything that you can combine and think of. Now, we come to the first people that changed our brothers and sisters in the so-called Polynesian Islands. It is the history of the Chinese. The first wave of Chinese immigrants arrived in Samoa in late 19th century. As time stretched on, and the more they came into the islands and they met the people, although they came as laborers, they integrated into the culture. They learned Far Samoa, married Samoan women, and the legacy they left behind is quite clear. This is Lolo Matalasi Moliga, governor of American Samoa, is Chinese. He might have big nose and so forth, is Chinese. He came from these people. And here are in Samoa, two high talking chiefs from Mangua. Look is also too common across the Pacific. Native people have been replaced by these mulattoes and Mongol extraction. These are not indigenous. These are not original. They are not like these Samoan warriors. More false images that are heavily promoted and heavily taught and given the limelight to deceive and to take people's lands. These are called Polynesians. Honestly speaking, and in all fairness, these are not. The truth of the matter is that Polynesians now are extremely diverse population according to this website. But they don't tell us why. Because this masks the origin of the immigrants and the tricks that are played upon us to remove us and replace us with these mulattoes and eventually the Chinese. These are Bantus in Samoa, straightforward. And these are Tongans, straightforward. If you go to Zimbabwe, South Africa, Mozambique, Zambia, Botswana, you find Tongas, they are like this. Original Maori in New Zealand, they are like this. You see? So when you see this, the Prime Minister of New Zealand is a European and he's forcing people to vaccinate, he's a European. This is the replacement race, replacement groups. This is New Zealand. Marata Te Ugayeyu, wife of Urepepua of Pakipaki, Hawke's Bay, 1880. And this is Maori wooden portrayal of Chief Rahahui Rukupo. You know Tinechi Kupo? Here is Rukupo. Same people. We are the same people. Again, there they are. This is a portrait of a young Samoan woman. And these are Samoan warriors performing the traditional Ai Lao dance, 1868. It has been copied by a lot of other immigrants. There again, we've got High Chief Tupua Tamasese Titimae and his Tula Fale talking chief. Bantu leadership in Samoa Islands. Yeah, there's the South Pacific Islands, American Samoa, and then the Samoa here. And you look at the names of these places, Olosega, Mangua Islands, and so forth. These are all our own people. From this place, Samoa, to Australia is 2,500 or 4,000 kilometers. To Fiji is 1,200 kilometers. To New Zealand is 2,800 kilometers. It's the same area. Apia or Savai, Apolona, Manono. These are our own brothers and sisters. These are the people that are replacing the original. These are mulatto Maori troops of the Maori Battalion in North Africa, July 1941. The 28th Maori Battalion was an infantry battalion of local Maori numbering about 700 in the New Zealand Army, which served during the Second World War. They are not indigenous. They are not original. These are new people. The indigenous look like this. Straightforward, let us not beat about the bush. The indigenous people of Fiji, we will continue with our journey because 500 years ago, these people were being replaced. They call them Melanesian as if because they've got black or brown or dark skin. They are all Bantus. They are all melanin dominant human beings. Like the Tasmanians, the original Hawaiians are now extinct. This is Queen Liliuokalani. Hear that word? Liliuokalani. Liliuokalani. Think about that word. You go to this website, you find a lot of this information. Due to influx of Japanese and Chinese workers to man the sugar plantations in the 1800s, this is what the typical Hawaiian today looks like. From that to that. They are not original or indigenous. You see, these are not full-blood or black Hawaiians. There are lots of whites and Japanese and Chinese and their mulattoes on the islands. So these are what pass for native Hawaiians today. They are not native Hawaiians. They are not indigenous. These are from China. They are Mongols. Now, there is a consuming fear and dread that melanin-dominant human beings in the world are a threat to the current rulers of the earth if they unite or if they appreciate their unique color of being black or melanin-dominant. Therefore, there is continuous work day and night to keep melanin-dominant human beings divided. When we say melanin-dominant human beings, we include Polynesians, Micronesians, Melanesians, who encompass all this triangle of the Central and East Central Pacific Ocean. The triangle has its apex at the Hawaii Islands in the north and its base angles in New Zealand, Aotearoa, which is the original name of New Zealand. In the west is the island of Easter Islands, so-called Easter Islands, but Rapa Nui in the east. Benjamin Franklin, one of the founders of the United States, penned an essay regarding his own personal uneasiness and the fear of melanin-dominant human beings population. He goes on to explain it. You go to this digital history or on the website realhistory.www.com. They will explain that to you. We have given proof that indeed these black people in Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia, and Australia are all from Africa. The indigenous and the founding races are all from Africa. That has been proved from the emergence of the earth as a single land mass of Africa until it started to split and spread in tectonic travel. They were all from Africa. The other way you can view this is the one that is promoted by the likes of Benjamin Franklin. Which side are you on? Anyone, anyway, who refuses that he or she is an African or a melanin dominant human being or a brown human being, as long as they are not melanin recessive, is thinking using Euro programming system. Our ancestors left enough evidence and enough proof to show us who they were and where they moved into the earth. It is time to remove this Euro-gender programming. And are you ready to work for unity? If yes, get in touch. Send us an email on join@marifado.com. In conclusion, therefore, the human settlement of the Pacific Islands represents one of the most recent major migration events of mankind. The idea that Polynesians originated in Asia according to linguistic evidence or Melanesia according to archaeological evidence is inconclusive, because we know there was only one land mass when humans emerged on the earth, and the original human species island hopped into all the other parts of the earth, and they were originally melanin dominant or Africans. That's why we say Africa is your epicenter. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel, Kamiti Iburu Ethics. This preacher by LM Tumizu Lugalkalu Gudkenim Jaganjamskan. Till we meet again, Siabonga, Tatenda, Enkos, Edupe, Asante Sana. We are all melanin dominant human beings, if we are indeed. Have a great day.